Hello, y'all. This is Prime Tron Gamer, and today I'm doing another Transformers review about Scorponok. Now, Scorponok made his first appearance in Transformers Generation One. And he appeared at the end of he appeared in the final season of Transformers Generation One. He was in the last season, and he was a headmaster. And he was very big. He was very powerful. He was a very powerful Decepticon that was very loyal to Galvatron. He was a headmaster, and he also was a Decepticon. He was a Decepticon, yeah. And he was. I have to say, he was very big. He was very he was very he was huge. He was basically as big as Metroplex. He also transformed into a base. He was a base, and he was very big. He was very huge. He was very powerful too, and he appeared at the very end of the final season of Transformers Generation 1. Now, I remember at first, originally I thought Scorponok appeared in Beast Wars, but no, that's when he made his second appearance. But originally he made his first appearance in Transformers Generation 1. He had appeared at the very end of the final season. He appeared in the final episode of Transformers Generation 1. He made his first appearance in G1, and he was like a green and purple color, and he had a robot mode. He was also a headmaster, and he had a mode when he transformed into a scorpion. And he was very powerful, and he was very huge. He was much bigger. He was a lot more bigger than an ordinary transformer. He was like as big as Metroplex. He was massive, and he could transform into a base. He was also a base, and he was very powerful and very dangerous. And I think he's like kind of like a rival of Metroplex. He was just as big as Metroplex and just as big as Contripticon, the Contripticon. And he's really big, and but he also made a second appearance in Transformers Beast Wars. That was his second appearance in Beast Wars. And then on there, he also had a robot mode, and he had a mode when he transformed into a scorpion. So he made a second appearance in Transformers Beast Wars. He appeared in the first season of Transformers Beast Wars, and he made his first appearance in G1 in the final season, and he also made his third appearance. He also appeared in many of the Transformers comics, and I'll have to say I really like the character Scorponok. He's definitely one of my favorite Decepticon characters. One thing I could say about Scorponok, he's very powerful and very dangerous. He also made his appearance in the Transformers live-action movies. He made his appearance in Transformers 1. And it was during the events. It was sometime during the middle of Transformers 1 when Lennox and after surviving the attack from Blackout, because they barely survived that attack from Blackout. And what happened was, Scorponok, as they were walking to try to search for more survivors, they was in the desert, and Lennox and Epps, and his team, they was in the desert, and Scorponok was tracking them. He was tracking them under the sand, and he attacked one of his soldiers, his men. He stuck him with his stinger, and he took out one of his men, and they was running. He jumped up from out the sand, and they would start running. He was attacking them, and he was huge, Scorponok. So, And one thing I could say about Scorponok, especially in the live action movies, he was very dangerous, very very deadly. He had a lot of firepower, and it's just one of my favorite action parts in Transformers One. One of my favorite moments that I really enjoy in Transformers One. It was an awesome action part. It was like the complete military versus Scorponok, and Scorponok had so much firepower that he was giving them a lot of trouble, and they was calling for backup because they was like, what the heck is this? And I remember Epps was like, man, if you see this mess, if you see this, he cursed, but it was a funny part, but it was just a classic part, when they show Scorponok and he was shooting like all these missiles, and he was shooting like he had a lot of firepower, you know what I mean? And he was very dangerous. He took out one of the men. He badly wounded one of his men. He took out one of them, and he badly wounded some of his other men. And he was calling, for help. Lennox and them. They was calling because they needed reinforcements, and that's how dangerous Scorponok was. But they managed to damage Scorponok. Like, I think he lost part of his tail, but he retreated. He went back underground. He went back in the sand and retreated. And that was the last time we seen. That was the last time we see Scorponok in Transformers One. Now he does make a second appearance at the end of Transformers 2, Revenge of the Fallen, and it was during the final battle in the desert when he made his second appearance. And during that, he attacked Jetfire, and he damaged Jetfire, but Jetfire was managed to take him out before he died, because he was badly wounded. He was badly damaged by Scorponok, because Scorponok jumped up and attacked him. You know what I mean? And so he made his first appearance in Transformers 1, and he made his last appearance in Transformers 2, Revenge of the Fallen, and he met his end at the hands of Jetfire. You know what I mean? And he attacked Jetfire, and Jetfire was like, I'm too old for this crap. It was just funny, but it was cool that we got to see him in, not just in one movie, but in two movies. So he was in Transformers 1, and he was in Transformers 2, Revenge of the Fallen. But he made many appearances in the Transformers comics. He made his first debut in Transformers Generation 1. He was in the final episode. He was in the final season of G1. And one thing I could say, even in the live action movies, they stuck really good with the original. Like all the versions of Scorponok, he basically was sort of similar to his G1 counterpart. Like, he was about similar. And even his Beast Wars counterpart, I loved that version of Scorponok. And one thing I could say, all the versions of Scorponok, he was a Decepticon. I think the only difference in his G1 counterpart, he was a headmaster, and he was much, much bigger, and he also transformed into a base. But in the live action movies, he wasn't that big. He was big, but he wasn't as big as he was in G1. And in G1, he had a robot mode. He had two forms. But one thing I could say is that I love all the versions of Scorponok. And he's definitely one of my favorite Decepticons, because he's very dangerous. He's very powerful. He has a lot of firepower. And he's definitely one of my favorites, And he had many forms, I have to say. He had his mode. He had his robot mode. He had his scorpion. He had his mode when he transforms into a scorpion. He had a mode when he transforms into a base. You know what I mean? And he also was originally a headmaster in G1. So Scorponok, I have to say, is really cool. They had a lot of amazing versions of Scorponok, and he made his second appearance in Beast Wars. He also appeared in Transformers comics. But yeah, they have a lot of toys of him. But I really loved the live action movie Scorponok. I really loved it. I also liked the fact that he had his own music too. I really liked that. How in Transformers 1 and Transformers 2, when they was being attacked by scorponoks, they start playing that music, and I just love that music. I love the scorponok theme, it's really cool. And I have to say, he's definitely one of my favorite Decepticons. And he's very sneaky, and he's dangerous. He's very dangerous, and he moves quickly too, and he's very dangerous. He's very deadly, and he has a lot of firepower, and he's very tough, And I guess Blackout, that was his little companion. That was his in the live action movies, that was like his pet. That was like his that was like his companion. Kind of like in Transformers Dark of the Moon, Shockwave's companion was Cyclone, was the that drill with the tentacles. That was his sort of like his pet, And I have to say, Scorponok is definitely one of my favorites, and he's a classic character. He's he made his first appearance in G1, and he made many appearances, especially in Beast Wars. And I just want to know from my subscribers, what's your favorite version of Scorponok? And what's your favorite Scorponok moment? Scorponok moment, I have to say, I love all his designs. I love his G1 design. I love the live action movie, Scorponok. I love his design. It was really cool. I like his Beast Wars design too. He was really cool in Beast Wars, Scorponok. And I actually have to say, originally I thought he made his first appearance in Beast Wars, because when I see him in Generation 1, at the very end, I remember watching the final episode, and he was the last threat. He was the last villain that the Autobots had to stop. He was the last Decepticon they encountered, and I don't think they ever defeated Scorponok. I think he was a little damaged, but he didn't actually die. That's how powerful he was, because he was really huge, and he was giving the Autobots a lot of trouble, in the final episode, and I remember, at first I thought he made his first appearance in Beast Wars, because that was the first time I seen Scorponok, actually, when I was watching Beast Wars. But I remember it was this channel that used to come on TV. It's I think it's called Family something now. It's called Discovery, Family Discovery now. But it was originally called The Hub. If you remember, it was this channel called The Hub, and it used to show the G1. Used to show all the versions of Transformers. It even showed Transformers Prime for the very first time, It showed Transformers Prime. But I remember I got a chance to see the final season of G1, and I seen Scorponok, and I'm like, wow, I didn't know he appeared in G1 first, I was surprised about that. I thought he made his first appearance in Beast Wars, You know what I mean? So I was really shocked, and my brother was surprised too, because he didn't know either, and that's something, he made a lot of appearances, and I just really love, all the versions of Scorponok. I love all his designs. I felt like he's a very powerful Decepticon, and I think there's a version of him as a toy when he's a triple changer, if I'm correct, yeah, but he was originally a headmaster, and he was just as big as Metroplex and Omega Supreme. He was like really big, and he transforms into a base, what I mean? He was definitely he was a headmaster originally, yeah. But I really love his design, and I love how we got to see him on a big screen in Transformers 1 and Transformers 2. I'm like, because he's a classic character, and I'm just glad that they brought him, and, they got, we got to see him on a big screen, and we got a glimpse of him, of how he will look, like CG, and how he'll look real, I think they did an amazing job, ILM, bringing the character to life, just like Optimus and Bumblebee and Ratchet and Megatron and Starscream, they brought all those characters to life on a big screen, including Scorponok,